Hello! This is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. My toilet froze, y'all.
Your whole
What the
toilet?
fuck?
Yeah.
You went in there and it was just a block of ice, like a big ice cube in your bathroom.
I'm sure
you're
glad
like,
it's in
"Aw,
there and we're out here.
It's fucking January.
It's
Oh
January,
my
y'all."
God.
Anyway, this is an
Uh,
anime podcast.
Yeah.
We talk about
yeah.
anime here.
Hi, anime.
So,
We gonna
I-
introduce ourselves? Yeah.
I'm Blackle. I finished Steins Gate yesterday night. I got
Cool.
the
Oh.
true ending. Pretty good. Pretty good time travel plot.
You like that?
Nice.
Could have been executed better as far as not having as much sexual assault sections.
Ooh.
But other than that, ignoring
yeah.
those parts.
I feel like that's in
The
a lot
time-
of
Yeah.
animes, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, this is the VN, which was
Okay.
surprisingly better on some things than the anime, as far as I remember.
Hmm.
But anyway,
And yet.
and
Steins Gate has always been on my list, but I've never gotten to it.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Joey. What have I been doing this week? Yeah, same old JJK and Turn A Minds. They continue to be good.
You watching Fruit Run?
Oh yeah, I did watch more Free Run. Free Run's really good. They sure do have a way of making you get at least slightly emotional in basically every single episode. And you're just like, God, stop it.
Somehow.
Get some help. So yeah, that's me. Hello.
Hi, I'm Louie. I've been watching so much anime. It's kind of embarrassing. Let's see. I've been watching Free Run. I've been watching. I rewatched the second season of Blue Exorcist. I think I was talking about this last time I was on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished that up.
Nice.
There's no dub for season 3 though, and I've been
Oh,
watching the dub, and I'm just like, do
yeah.
I want to watch the subs? But there's that. I've been watching more Free Run. What else? I've been watching Dungeon Meshi. I've been watching other stuff that
Oh, yeah.
is not important in this moment.
I forgot Dungeon Meshi. I watched episode 2
Dungeon
and it's
Meshi.
I also watch
good.
anime. I watched half of Free Run.
Just
And,
the free part.
And yeah, just a free part. And I watched more Dungeon Meshi. And I watched JJK, and we've been eating good, y'all.
We've been feasting.
It's too much good anime. I'm foreboding. I'm dreading something terrible.
I know,
is going to happen.
This is literally what I was just telling our good friend Louis here earlier, because he is going to have the episode picked. Just slight spoilers. I don't obviously know what it is, but I do feel like it's going to be another good one. And
We're
this is
building
what
up
I
a
said.
karmic debt.
I've seen Full Metal Alchemist. I know the law of equivalent exchange. We're gonna get an absolutely nuclear bomb bad episode at some point, and it's coming.
It's
Single
gonna be terrible. One of us will die.
one of us will
Listen,
die.
it's
We'll
like
have to-
my. Sorry.
We'll have to go and I'll go on a journey to find the revival spell or whatever.
Resurrection magic. Oh
Yeah,
God.
resurrection magic.
I had a really funny joke and it's gone, but let's just pretend I said it.
Do you guys want some news?
Yeah, let's have some news.
Well, too fucking bad. There isn't.
Oh. What? What do you mean there isn't any? No one's talking about anime this week?
I swear, I combed all of my sites, and all I got was just oh, hey, they put out a creditless version of this OP. I don't give a shit. Did you not give a shit? This is not an article.
We don't even have a weird Ava piece. We don't have.
I've got one thing for you.
Okay.
Because I've got one thing for you. Aniplex has decided to do a series of what I'm calling shitpost marketing stunts
What?
with some new properties they're apparently going to release on January 15th. They have
Okay.
created a new official website for O, which
The
everyone
letter?
assumes is an anime project, but I'll just pull it up right here. We have a teal background with a black O in the middle of the screen and nothing else.
Okay, maybe they just really are really excited about a letter.
And
Are
it
you
would and it would just be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like it's a mysterious teaser, right? Yeah, it's not like o.com or anything. It's aniplex.co.jp/xld3mb / leads you to the O page.
Oh,
Do you want the second story?
is it better?
On the 16th of January, this very day, Aniplex has released a new website for codename M.
Aniplex. Can we why are companies allowed to get away with this? Why are companies allowed to get away with this? This is bullshit.
And anyway, if you want to go to aniplex.co.jp /Z8P0G9 / you can view the black M on a red field for yourself.
Hey, I missed that URL. Can you say it again?
No.
Can you
Really
just send me a
slowly.
QR code?
Could you send me a normal barcode?
Relay it to
Okay.
you in cuneiform.
So that was the news, I guess.
That was the news.
That's anime, baby.
Louis was very confident in suggesting that he had a pick for today, so I'm going to let him take it from here.
Okay, so this anime is what some people seem to be saying. And when I say some people, I mean the second episode came out and it crashed the Crunchyroll servers.
Oh.
It's some people are saying it's like going to be like the anime of the season.
Hmm.
I don't know if this is true.
It's early
But-
on, but
I need like a drum roll. I don't know.
No.
Go ahead.
No, every
It-
time we ask for a drum roll, it's a fucking disaster.
I think it's
just
great.
say it.
It's called Solo Leveling, and there's also another name for it that's longer that I can't remember off the top of my head. But
All
it's
right.
Is this the Korean thing?
yeah.
This is
Emma's
the
gonna be
Korean
mad.
thing.
There's-
There was a non-zero chance that I was going to bring Scott Pilgrim Takes Off to this show just to see if I could get Emma to come back from the grave to
To
kill me.
scream at us. Yeah, okay. Let's solo level, baby.
According to our expert opinion on anime and what is an anime, Emma, Solo Leveling is an anime.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Solo leveling is made by a Japanese studio, so
It's all
technically counts.
It all boils down to being produced in Japan, which I think is very funny because most anime isn't. And lots of it is made overseas.
Yeah. It's fine, don't worry about it.
So yeah, who was this blurb that I had to cut up because it's just the second half of it is just straight up wrong.
I think Blackle should read the blurb.
Blacker read the last
I
blurb.
cashed in.
That's-
I
oh,
cashed
yeah.
in last time.
That's
so I
so
wouldn't have to do
true.
this.
Blackle got the money in the bank briefcase and used it
And used it on the easy one. Okay,
on
fine,
the easy
I'll read it.
one.
Fine. Give me these Korean names. 10 years ago, the Gate appeared and connected the real world with the realm of magic and monsters. To combat these vile beasts, ordinary people received superhuman powers and became known as hunters. 20-year-old Sung Jinwoo is one such hunter, but he is known as the world's weakest, owing to his pathetic power compared to even a measly E rank. Still, he haunts monsters tirelessly in low rank gates to pay for his mother's medical bills.
I should have cashed in
know-
on this one because I find Korean names quite easy to read.
They're they
without
are
the second
kind of
paragraph,
busy.
it's just shitting on Sung Jinwoo's life.
Yeah.
That's
But,
fine.
but listen, the second paragraph like included events that
I-
literally did not happen in the first episode.
Yeah, no, I know. I just went and
So,
scurried over to our little source and read it myself.
So yeah, you guys, I'm gonna need a significant amount of help from you guys because I don't know if the show isn't good or if my brains are just coming out
If
of
it
my
just
ears.
sucks.
I retained almost nothing.
The show was
just
bad.
bounced off of you.
I hated
Well,
this with a capital H.
I kind of thought Blackle wouldn't like this.
Okay, well, tell us more about it later, but let's lay out the bones of it first.
We need
We
we need the story.
We open on a Godzilla ass scene, and I do love this. But
They're fighting ants.
so we open on the Navy, and they're just like, "We should be up in this fight, sir." And it's just like, our weapons do nothing, and there's a bunch of explosions going off on an island, and then we cut to some fucking isekai shit, which I'm gonna give it credit for doing the reverse isekai and bringing the fantasy
Wait,
to our world.
This has been
wait,
done before,
hold on.
though.
Isn't this Gate again?
Yeah,
Kind
this
of?
has been done before and better.
Do you remember? No, Gate
wouldn't say
wasn't
better.
good. Gate was
No,
not good.
Okay,
Gate
Oh
was
my-
really bad.
I said
was-
better. I didn't say good.
Gate
I don't
was not
think Gate
necessarily,
was
Hater
better.
opinions aren't valid.
Better is
was-
a strong term.
but it was funny.
It
Anyway,
was funny, and that wasn't funny
Because it's-
derogatory.
because it's funny to see a tank fight cavalry. Anyway,
we gotta get through this one because
So-
I feel like we're all gonna have a lot of words here soon.
so yeah, and then we cut in on the island, and there's like adventurer shit, and it's like a jungled island in the Pacific. It looks like. And there is a guy coming out of the jungle, and hot on his heels is just a shitload of huge ants. And
This
I
scene was so scary.
I love a bunch of huge ants.
They
But
they start tearing these guys limb from limb,
Yeah,
and like
Yeah, and they show it. Like I forgot to mention that they do just show. This
yeah,
stuff.
they're those big fucking ants from Elden Ring.
and they like these you're just watching these guys just die and like twitch, and it's like kind of
Yeah.
surprisingly visceral. I was like,
they
ew.
they get fucked up super quick, even though they appear to be prepared for it, and they're wearing like plate armor and wielding
Mhm.
swords, which we'll get at later. But but it's just like, oh no, because they're just like, you must hold them here so that the line won't collapse. Oh god, we've collapsed immediately.
Oh god, the line.
it's going so bad.
It's not gonna make it.
And we zoom in on one guy who's being actively ate by an ant.
Did you just-
yes,
Say that word again.
actively et. He's getting
actively ate.
It's French for and.
That's not true.
That's not what I said.
Getting eated.
And he's just like, oh shit, I'm starting to lose consciousness. This is how it's gonna end for old Sung Won or whatever his name is.
No, Pro CD is not in this.
Pro CD's just like, looks like that's it for Pro CD.
Oh man, I'm never
Pro
gonna
CD
voice
all over
another
the
anime
place.
character again.
But I'm gonna level with you guys. I only remembered one name from this show because he only seemed to be the only important character. So
For me, it's just that I'm not that used to Korean names. They're not like necessarily harder.
they're not harder. It's just I only it would happen the same if it was a Japanese show.
Sure.
But just in time, he gets saved by a guy with a mace and a shield. And it's just
Yep.
like, oh, he's like a cleric, I guess. And he's pulling magic out of a book and he's going to heal this guy. It's like, okay, that's cool. Oh, but there's more ants. Oh, no, there's more guys, you see.
Yes, don't
There's
worry.
like, there's a guy who punches real good, and there's Vega from Street Fighter. Who does lightning for some reason. Yeah, he does lightning for some reason. I don't know why. And
It's
yeah,
fine.
They fight the ants, and it's cool, I guess.
Like his
I get
claws.
it's pretty cool. He's got claws is interesting. You know, the other guy's just like suplexing them.
Yes.
And they're just like, you take it from here and heal more people. And then they fight a big white ant, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, that must be the leader of this swarm.
Mhm.
It's not the boss, is it? And they're just like, okay, and they fight up against the white ant, and it's a little tougher. And they're like, okay, that must have been the leader. Oh wait, there's a bunch more over there, and they're also white.
And they're also like
They are also white.
They're
And we
white
cut
white.
and
across-
spotted.
We jump across the island to a guy being referred to as Guildmaster because it's WoW. This
Mhm.
World of Warcraft
Kind
is
of, a
happening.
little bit, yeah.
And a big column of red ants, and then the white ones in the back are marching up the street towards them. And it's like, anytime you're ready, Guildmaster. He's just like, okay, and he roasts all of them with a big magic spell. And
I would
then
also like. Sorry.
they presumably fight the rest out of it.
Yeah,
They
I would
cut
also
away,
like
it
to
doesn't matter.
I would also like to say that this is the only character that's on the My Anime List character front page.
Mhm.
As far as importance goes. So
Anyway, we jump around in time a lot. I think that was 10 years ago.
it was
and
that
then
was 3 years ago. Then
was
they talk
3
about what happened 10 years ago.
Then they talk about what happened 10 years ago, which is we just get some exposition here, which is gates started opening all over the earth with
Yes.
with like goblins and shit on the other side.
There were goblins. They very
Goblins.
specifically show like one of the most stereotypical goblins I've ever seen in
It's a
anime.
goblin-ass goblin.
It's a goblin-ass goblin, and he does an evil grin, so you know he's a bad guy.
It's just like it was really dangerous, and only certain people who manifested magic powers could deal with them because they were
Magic
immune to
beasts.
conventional weaponry. This is great. They are immune to bullets
The bullets, yeah.
somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll come back to that a little later. Because this is kind of a sticking point for me. But and then we go to like the modern day, right? And some people are basically just getting ready to go into one of these gates. It appears to be in like downtown in like Seoul or something. I don't know how to say that city's name.
Seoul?
Seoul. It's Seoul. I'm stupid.
It's essentially Seoul.
But I assume this is occurring somewhere around there. But it is in downtown. It's just in like an industrial park. And there's like a food truck outside serving coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just this glimmering portal that's been cordoned off with like tarps. Which I think is great. I love that whenever that happens to like Persona and shit, and whenever I clearly like interdimensional vortex opens up and some construction workers come and put pylons in front of it.
Yeah. Like, this isn't gonna stop anything, but like we don't want to look at it all the time, I guess.
They're just like, don't go in here in case you had to be told.
They put big caution tape across it. Keep out.
It always gives me a chuckle for some reason.
Yeah.
But they're serving coffee, and you got guys like showing up in like tracksuits with like swords slung over their shoulders, which is a look.
Just another day at the office, folks.
Just like, and two of them are shooting the shit, and it's just like, oh, you came out for this one? I thought you were done with hunting. It's just like, well, my wife had a second baby, so. And in between this, we get like a weird conversation that doesn't like make sense diegetically, but is there to tell us what's up. From like the leader of the Hunters Association, and he's a big guy in a suit, but he's got like scars, so he did it.
Yeah.
He found the one
He
piece.
did it. I was gonna say that was this the Garp-ass motherfucker?
This is the Garp-ass motherfucker. I think his name is like Go or something like that.
That's probably
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gun
Go
He.
Gun He. And what his deal is he's going to lay out the exposition. It's just like, yeah, it's dangerous as hell, and sometimes the monsters come over here, and being a hunter is a hard job. But the government wants the resources that we find in there, because every monster you kill drops like a magic stone.
Essence stones is what they call them.
And they can be, those can be used to make magic weapons and stuff, but the government isn't interested in that. It's interested in trying to derive electricity from them.
Yeah, they want it's a clean power source.
It's clean energy. It's more efficient than nuclear power and safer too.
Is it safer?
I
mean, it's safe. Maybe safer for the environment, I suppose.
It's safer for most people.
It's not safer for the hunters.
Specifically, much, much, much less safe for a very small amount of people.
You know what? I guess
who may be stabbed to death trying to acquire it.
Wait, hold on. Is this did we just invent a new type of trolley problem?
Yeah.
No, this is just this is what's the word? Omelas.
Yeah, this is
where it's
the
city where like everything is great except there's one child who's being eternally tortured. Stop torture.
The country, this version of Korea is powered by the suffering of middle-aged men who kill goblins with baseball bats.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're shooting the shit, and it's just be like, well, this one shouldn't be that. It's just a D-rank dungeon, and they see a guy come in, and everybody says hi to him. It's just like, hey, Jinwoo. It's just like, oh, you're back. Hey, good for you. And it's a regular ass Kirito. Hair's a little grown out on him, and he's got a bunch of bandages on his face. And the guy asks, is just like, oh, that guy must be really notable, huh? It's just like, well, it's kind of the opposite, in fact. He's not especially powerful. In fact, he's probably the weakest hunter there is.
That's old Glass Bones Mike. We love seeing Glass Bones Mike because it means it's an easy mission.
It's fucking Glass Joe from Punch Out.
Kinda.
And yeah, they're all talking about him, and it's just like, yeah, but don't let him overhear that. It's rude.
And he heard the whole thing.
But we love to see him because it means the dungeon's going to be a cakewalk. And they're talking about how like he went through an E-rank dungeon and ended up in a hospital and shit. And he's just like, oh yeah, really. And then they get introduced to the old man who's like leading this party. Leading this raid, because they straight up use like WoW terminology.
They do. It's fine.
And it's just like, I'm in charge because I have the most experience, and everybody's just like, yeah, we're good with that. It's just like, take good care of us. And it's like, all right, let's do this. And they go in. There's another piece of exposition from Go here explaining how things work, and his office is full of like fucking magic crystals and shit, which is really funny because otherwise it's a very plain like Japanese businessman.
He also has like a rack of like swords.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of swords.
It's very funny.
But when we cut back, they're all fighting, including Jinwoo, and Jinwoo has like a pitiful magic knife.
Yes. Oh my god, it looks like it's made of cardboard.
It's all he can afford, and he's really pumped because he got his first magic stone. Because he defeated a monster.
He did it.
He fucking brutally stabbed it to death in a life or death struggle, while the others are just sort of monster mashing their way through the level monsters.
Yeah.
And he's really pumped until like a goblin comes at him, and he goes to block it, and his knife just cracks.
And he gets super got.
When he goes for the riposte, it just snaps in half, and the thing just stabs him in the abdomen. And it's not an anime stab where he's just like, oh no, he like crumples and he's just like, oh god.
Yeah, no, this is like kind of real shit.
He really sells it. I'll give him that. And a girl he was talking to earlier who was very concerned about him because his face was cut up. It's just like, oh shit, okay, I'll get you healed. Because that's what she does. She's a B rank healer. And she's looking after him.
Pretty good.
While the others finish up, they fight like a big werewolf.
Yeah, you see him in the back, like flat on the floor after this.
He looked like John Talbane from Darkstalkers. But and they're just like, that must be him. It's just like, good job, everyone. It's just like, well, there wasn't a whole bunch of essence stones in here. Not a lot of mana crystals either, which are apparently like the magic resource you don't have to kill to get.
Yeah.
They're just sort of on the floor.
They're just there. They look like big snowflake cookies.
Oh, and we should address this now. In between all of this, and I'm sure this is supposed to come up next episode, we get some shots of A, the Guildmaster from earlier just talking on the phone, and B, some girl going in for like testing, and I love the way they test you for magical aptitude.
You go touch a big orb.
Yeah, it looks like the fucking stress test room, except the treadmill has been replaced by this hovering evil fucking obsidian orb.
Just put your hand on the obsidian orb, please.
And they're just like, please touch the orb.
Go like, ponder that orb.
You could not pay me to touch that orb.
I would be pondering that orb so much.
This is a motherfucking Palantir.
I would be lingering on that orb. They would be like, you can leave. You're done.
You have no magic. Get out of here.
We have all we need. Please, we're gonna remove you from the orb.
I am removed from the orb room.
I have been removed from the orb.
But yeah, some stylish girl in a hoodie is getting checked out for it, and there's apparently guilds around offering people contracts, which I think is interesting. It feels like. It feels like fucking people trying to snap up high school level athletes.
Oh God. Oh no.
But yeah, when we cut back, Jinwoo is almost healed up, and the girl is really bitching him out because it's just like, why do you do this? Are you just stubborn? And he won't say, and she's really pissed off about it because he's like endangering himself severely by going into these places.
You're gonna die one of these.
He lacks the requisite ability to do this. And while this is happening, the others are just like, hey, I found another cave. And it's just like, ooh, a double dungeon? I'd heard stories about this. Well, it's like, well, this one doesn't show any signs of shutting down, which I think is interesting. It's like instanced. Like they kill the head cheese, and it's just like, you have 3 minutes to get the fuck out.
Right.
But and the old man is just like, well, usually the Hunters Association wants you to report things like this. But and some of the guys in there, it's just like, we didn't find that much loot, and he's got a kid on the way. Because apparently the goal here is to like trade these things for like hard currency.
Yes, you sell them.
you sell them, which is a hilarious job.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, okay, well, we'll take a vote about it. How about that? Because I don't want to be solely responsible if things get fucked up.
Yeah.
So they take a vote, and it comes down to six yays and 6 nays. And the last one to vote is Jinwoo, which, by the way, Jinwoo makes a terrible decision here, and not just because of what happens later, but because of his current circumstances. His weapon is fucking broken.
His weapon is broken. Not
he
only
is
that,
unarmed.
but he does vote yes. But like, if you think about it, it's stupid. Not just for that, but like, he's like, I have to get money for my mom. If you're dead, you're not going to be getting money for your mom at all.
You've already
got your one little rock. Get out of there.
Got something,
dummy.
Fucking take it outside and sell it at the pawn shop. But
you've never been in a position where you're so desperate you make the stupid choice.
No.
Well, maybe you should go in more dungeons.
Not life and death.
I make good, smart choices because I think about things before I do them. So yeah, he's just like, I can't tell anybody about it, but I need to put my sister through college and buy my mom's medicine for her anime mom sickness.
Yeah, she is an anime mom, unfortunately.
We haven't seen her. We don't know if she has the side braid or not. If she has the side braid, bro, don't even fucking bother. That bitch has tuberculosis. She's gonna die of consumption. But so they press on, and interestingly enough, they're not like encountering any monsters or anything. It's just one long tunnel.
Yes.
And it takes them like it takes them a long time, like including the monsters they already fought. They're just like, we've been in there for like 40 minutes. It's just like, we usually or no, they've been walking down the tunnel for 40 minutes.
Yes, they're in there for ages.
Because they're clocking it from when they beat the Wolfman. Because it's just like, it usually takes dungeons about an hour to shut down. It's just like, well, we got 20 minutes to spare then. And they come to some huge fucking doors and don't immediately say, hey, maybe not.
Hey, these doors look suspicious.
These are this is a Titanic fucking structure. Maybe we should think this through. But they're just like, it's weird to see actual doors on these boss rooms. That doesn't come up very often. It's just like, well, I'm going in.
Yeah.
And they enter this blam ass room, this enormous chamber.
It's massive.
With these easily, I think the guard statues are easily 25 feet tall.
This activated my ultra kill brain because I was like, aha, I know what these are.
And the big and the big statue of God looks like he's like 40 feet tall. He is enormous, and they're all just sort of bumping around in this big chamber, and it's just like, well, there doesn't seem to be any monsters here, and the old man is just like, oh, there's a magic circle. That's pretty interesting.
I'm gonna touch it.
Hey, there's some ancient script here. It's just like, well, okay, how do you know how to read this?
Yeah, true.
And the ancient script basically reads, it's just like, rule number 1 for God's big temple, for God's crib. Rule number 1 is respect God.
Rule number 2, worship God.
Worship God. And rule number 3, if you don't do rules number 1 or 2, you're all gonna fucking die.
I'm pretty sure it's at this point the door closes.
Yeah, the door just closes while they're saying that. It's just like, oh, that's spooky. And a big guy in a tracksuit is just like, this was a bad idea, and I told you all, and I'm leaving.
He doesn't make it,
and he goes to leave, like a reasonable person. And yeah, he gets got. Like one of the statues just moves suddenly and throws like a lazy uppercut with its mace. And just takes off the whole top half of his torso. It's just gone.
Once again, surprisingly brutal.
Yeah, it gets real brutal from here. Because while they've been talking about that, Jinwoo and the healer girl has been
bitching him out the entire time.
He's been bitching him out the entire time.
The only person that's sane.
Because he's a dipshit.
I guess 6 of them were saying, actually, never mind.
5 of them now.
Yeah,
5 of them now. Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I thought I saw the big statue looking at me, and he's just like, it can't be that. It's just like, it must have been your imagination. And when he looks again, he sees after the guy gets got, he sees the statue's eyes move, and he thinks about it. He's just like, I've been in these low-level dungeons for like months at this point, and it's always a fucking life or death struggle every time. Like
I nearly starved to death.
I nearly starved to death in a labyrinth. I got separated one time, and he's talking about it's just like, I saw an opportunity, because he sees a goblin present its back, and he just rushes it with his knife, and he's just like, maybe that's why I have an eye for these sorts of things now, because he sees the eyes twitch to the right, and he's just like, everybody get down, because it just projects lasers.
Yes.
Just a beam of fire just scythes across the room, and it gets another guy.
Yeah,
like it just incinerates.
I got a couple of them.
You got a couple guys, I think, because you just look down and there's like barbecued hands in there, and it's
yeah. There's a low angle scene of them freaking out where all that remains of this guy is this charred hand.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And that's pretty much the situation they're left in. Like they're in a bad sealed room with a death laser statue.
Jinwoo freaks the fuck out because he's like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Like,
I'm gonna perish.
Die here.
And that's where they leave off with a very evil cliffhanger.
Yeah, and there's no outro.
There's music.
There's some music, but it was a black screen.
And then we get a little picture of the next, like
they give a photograph and the episode title, but like.
Oh, what's that? I didn't get it on my side.
What was
One
the
More
episode
Chance or
title?
something?
Yeah, I think something like that.
It's when the second half of the paragraph starts, or of the description starts kicking in.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what did we think of that? I'm gonna come out and say not badly animated, but I don't find it particularly visually interesting in most places, except for the big statue is appropriately evil.
The big statue ruled. That whole scene in the chamber, I really liked aesthetically.
I like how blue and evil it is in there.
Yes,
but other than that. The weapons and armor design were very generic fantasy, so they don't quite do it for me.
I feel like we need to put out a moratorium on generic fantasy, like because it's like so overused, and every time I see a fantasy thing, it fills me with dread. Anyway, wow. I hated this because I felt like there was a good show in here, and the execution was not good. Like the writing,
I feel like
communicate this idea was bad, and I'll explain why. It's that this show tells and doesn't show, and there were so many opportunities. I felt like they could have made some interesting like scenes and moments. Like for example, we got that scene where they're like, as you know, people are trying to buy these gems to like make like electricity. Why couldn't we have had like a scene where they're like in a lab and there's like a bunch of eggheads trying to like get like electricity to this thing, and they're like, we got it, and they all high five, and then they like shake hands with like the head guild master or whatever, and then you can infer from that what's going on.
Or even a telephone conversation where they
because if they did that, people would complain about there being too much and it being overstuffed.
What? The people complain about things being overstuffed? That fills you with what?
I don't.
I'm not gonna say that I hated this, but my kind of gripe is pretty much exactly the same as Black Holes. Like when they're specifically talking about, oh, here's when the gate opened 10 years ago, I almost feel like they didn't even need to have that blurb in there.
Yeah.
Because they kind of already showed it. Or they could have showed it a little more. But like I don't know. And I think the storytelling did have some jarring moments like that, because it kind of like threw off the flow too, because they have like this, high packed action scene with the ants, which I really liked this scene with the ants. It
was okay.
I thought the ants were fun and surprisingly brutal. I mean, I don't know.
I think those people were basically better equipped versions of the people we see later on, because the people we spend most of this episode are slumming it. This is a D rank dungeon, so they've just brought their weapons basically.
Yeah, the guys we saw later or earlier were S rank. Like these are the high leveled, turbo.
They're fully equipped. They've got armor and shit to prevent them from being stabbed to death like G1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not gonna get a knife to your spleen.
I would like to use this to segue, if we will. So the only thing we're told is that these creatures are immune to conventional weaponry. And it shows bullets bouncing off of them. So my question is that, like, well, how do they find out how to use magic and shit like that? Whatever. That's kind of important, but it's not within the purview of my question. My question is, why do they then decide to use these magical powers and like soul stones and shit to make fucking fantasy swords and shit, and not a gun that shoots magic bullets?
Because it's not the genre.
That annoys me.
Maybe they're working on the technology.
Like,
You don't know that. They've only had this stuff for 10 years. That's not long enough to make, probably not long enough to make magic bullets. I don't know.
If a show is doing wrong by its own idea in order to adhere to genre conventions, it is.
I don't think it's doing
Like,
wrong.
I think it's doing wrong. I think it's,
You've made that clear.
the other thing that I didn't like was the part at the end where like he basically tells us everything we've already inferred, which is that his knife is like his knife is something that he like only barely afforded. Like we can tell. We already knew that. You didn't have to tell us that. And I just feel like that whole monologue about how like he's been fighting for his life, yes, that's a cool like aspect of his character, but I feel like they could have saved that for later. Someone could have asked him like, how did you know that was going to happen or something, and then he could like explain.
I think that's the only bit of exposition that I liked in this.
I think it
episode,
was
actually.
fine because he was despairing.
I think there's.
Yeah, I feel like
I
no,
think
I'm
there's-
not saying that the like that aspect of him or exposition was bad. I'm just saying it was badly placed in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't mind the placement so much. There's a cut of this that I think is better, in which they cut out like 90% of the exposition and just let it ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there were some good parts.
okay,
like the
hold
part
on,
where
hold
like
on, hold
the
on. I need to like defend the exposition here because I loved the back and forth. I loved that we went from this high intense energy thing to here's what's happening, here's the world building, like here are the real world consequences of this fantasy like stuff happening. Like I thought it was fucking fascinating. So like hearing you guys be like talk about it like this, I'm just like, what the fuck, did we watch the same show?
My take is they didn't convey that information in an interesting way. It was just talking. Like,
they just the conversation he has in his office where he's talking
What's wrong
about
with talking?
like the history of things, because it doesn't make sense. Why is he explaining
It made
this
total
to somebody?
sense.
Why is
Why
he?
is he explaining
Why are they
to his
having this
assistant?
conversation?
Because he's
Something
an
that they
evil
don't
old man
know.
who likes talking about things.
How is he? I don't know. He's evil. Like,
Is he
seemed like an
evil?
He's a
okay guy.
capitalist. Of course he's evil.
He seemed mostly neutral to me, to be honest.
I look at this man and I'm like, oh, clean power? Sure.
There's
So,
totally something
we're
sus happening there.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that.
I don't even think
you
the
know-
red-haired guildmaster is totally clean.
You know,
Although
They
Although
could
he
have
actually-
he
conveyed that
does.
in a
Hold
better
on,
way.
he does equal employee opportunities. He was like,
Actually-
I don't care about age or gender.
good for him. Actually,
him.
I do actually, now that you mention it, when they were showing him in the office and kind of cutting back and forth, I actually did have that thought that maybe he's the behind the reason that they're now stuck in this dungeon. Because it doesn't seem like they're supposed to be where they are, right? And I'm
But,
I don't know why he would do that.
But anyway, this show has an 8.49 on my anime list right now.
What?
Because it's good.
I mean, people tend to like this kind of show.
This is an indictment of the entire
you have
genre.
to accept that,
I am not accepting
Ye-
anything.
You don't have to
Blackle-
say such like harsh, like not harsh. What's the word I'm looking for? Like big swinging, like statements. You know?
I was like screaming at the fucking like screen as this stuff was happening because it was so frustrating to me.
So let's not be so negative. What did I like? I liked pretty much everything that actually happened in the dungeon and up to him entering the dungeon. I don't think any of the rest of the episode needed to really be in there.
I liked.
I think it would have followed a lot easier if it was just, hey, him showing up to work. They should make this seem like a job.
right.
I mean, they did.
I think
They
like,
did.
I do.
Sorry, you go.
No, I was gonna say I do agree with Louis that the cutting between like his story and then like some world building stuff was good, but I feel like the world building stuff
You
wasn't.
just wanted
The-
it to
the
be
good part
done
of
in
that-
a different way.
Yeah, one good part of that was the like orientation, like
That was
I liked
like
the
projected
orientation.
like video. That was like pretty good. I thought that was well done. That's
Mhm.
like a lot of like you're seeing like how people are brought into this world
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. But all the other stuff, like also the part where like Magpie said they're like headhunting like high
Yeah.
school athletes.
Yeah, like-
Yeah.
That also was well done. But everything else, I feel like they could have thought of better ways to do it.
Anytime,
and more
anytime a character is monologuing and a character who does not speak in the episode, by the way, the fucking secretary, I don't think says a word.
Yeah, I
No, he
think
says
you're
a few
right.
things,
But,
but it's like
Maybe.
more of being a foil.
Hmm
I
But
don't.
yeah, like the as you know type.
Yeah, I hate an as you know. It sucks.
yeah.
It sucks to experience. But anyway, the real question is would you watch another episode?
Yeah.
And for me, weirdly, I would, just to see if it gets any better.
I do think that. Sorry, I'll let other people talk.
Can't believe none of you let me talk about what I liked and didn't like, but whatever.
What do you?
I would.
What did you like? What did you like?
It
What do
doesn't
you like?
matter. I would.
I want to know.
Well, now we've thrown off the whole flow of the show.
Did you like the pathetic boy being the main character?
Yes. You know I'm here for that. I liked how I really enjoy when a show is like this, but is surprisingly brutal. Because a lot of what gets me about a lot of fantasy shows is, they got hit with this extremely large laser beam and they just, got singed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen in this, and I enjoy that.
I'll give it to the show. The stakes are real.
The stakes are real, and I don't feel like we get that often enough in a fantasy show like this. Also, yes, I do enjoy a pathetic character. That's a me thing. I liked for the most part a lot of the art design for the the villains, the monsters. The statues were really good. I liked the ants a lot. The goblins were pretty generic, but it's sometimes you gotta have a generic monster in there. It's fine. And I've already talked about what I thought was my sort of gripe, which was again a little bit of the they could have shown more than explained, but it wasn't bad enough for me that I thought I hate this. No, I would actually want to watch more. And I don't know if part of that is because they left off on such a cliffhanger, but
yeah,
they got me. You got me.
I wonder if they Oshino code it and this was the 30-minute mark in a 90-minute episode, if
maybe
that would be different. He wakes up and he's a twin with
Oh god.
Oh my god.
We can't talk about Oshinoko.
This is gonna
I thought
be.
you were gonna say he wakes up and he's a twink.
This is gonna be.
I mean, he already is
He
one.
kind of already is. Yeah.
This is going to be an extremely out of nowhere reference, but I did actually start liking the show a lot more whenever they entered that big chamber at the end, because for whatever reason, it reminds me of an extremely obscure RPG Maker horror game called Haru.
Ooh.
Where basically a bunch of anime characters get killed in an Egyptian pyramid, and it reminded me of that for some reason. Just big brutal traps.
Wait, that's kind of cool. I might have to look into that later.
I'll send you.
I think I don't know. I don't want to say this was built for me, but the whole it reminds me of if Monster Hunter was in the real world with real what's the word I'm looking for?
They did that.
Real stakes. Okay, but this
I haven't watched
whatever that is. I haven't watched whatever that is.
But this time it's good.
You know what? I'm gonna give the show that badge of approval. Almost certainly better than the live action Monster Hunter film.
I completely forgot that was a thing.
Also,
or I repressed it.
I am going to continue to hold that this was a gazillion times better than Gate. I'm sorry, Gate was bad. This was not like that.
Gate was the one where they drove a tank through the portal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of thought parts of Gate were great.
Okay, here's the thing: is Gate was funny, but it was not good.
Funny.
Funny.
It's funny to see a helicopter fight a bunch of archers.
Yeah.
It's like real fucking Civ 5 shit.
Yeah. What I meant by Gate being quote unquote better, I know I'm the one who I'm quoting myself here, is that I feel like it's You know what? It might have just been like a "you got here first" bias.
Are you sure that
Um,
you're not viewing that show with rose-colored lenses? Because
I
it's been a long
definitely am,
time
actually.
since we watched Gate.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
couple years.
I take back my comments about Gate being better. I think my deal is part of why I'm being a little bit harsh is that this is not the kind of anime or genre that I like.
Mhm.
And
That's
so,
fair.
but the thing is, I feel like it got close to being interesting to me, but then it fumbled
Yeah,
the execution,
Well,
and then I
I
just
get
feel
that.
Yeah,
People are
no,
always
that's fair.
most mad at something that they perceive
That
has
they
like
almost like. Yeah.
lost like potential.
Yeah.
But anyway.
yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
I think, like going off of that, like I think one of the reasons why it resonates with me so much is like I just find the world building and like all that stuff, the potential of it, interesting. Whether or not they live up to it is another thing.
So
Sure.
so anyway, Lisa, if you think I should be allowed to forge a fucking magical over-under shotgun with my essence stones, then you should tell us about that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That is one the word, not the number. We are on Twitter, Blue Sky, at OneEpisodeCast. You can send us tips about where to find the best dungeons, I guess. I don't think that's a thing in this. You just go to the tarp. You just go to the tarp.
You go to the tarp. The man gives you a piece of paper and tells you where the tarp is this week.
Anyhow.
Anyhow, no, you have to sell it to us so we can make you a magic sword. You can't just grind up soul stones and load
Crunch,
them into
crunch,
load them into
breaking them into
shotgun
pieces.
holes and fire them out of a Benelli M4.
Oh my god. The madman.
Go like, what if they just put a crystal in the gun instead of in the bullets?
The whole
Mhm.
the gun
That'd be so funny.
explodes. This is silly.
You know, it's not even that far fetched. I think at one point they were making glass shotgun shells. I forget fucking why, but
My god.
it sounds horrendous, doesn't it?
Tear you
Yeah.
to shreds. To
Um,
The
shreds.
Betsy say.
For shreds, you say.
All right.
Anyway, let's get out of here.